Welcome to Isshin, two heavens as one. As far as our opening hand goes, yeah, we'll keep on this one. I like it. We got 3 lands in the hand. We've got some spot removal. We got some sort of way to interact with the combat zone and attacking. We've got some card advantage, and we've got a tutor. I mean, this is, other than having a mana rock, this is a beautiful opening hand. But yes, welcome. We've got a fun matchup. I'm actually pretty excited about this. So let's go and lead off with Arid Mesa. Let's go ahead and crack Arid Mesa, and I think on this one what we'll end up doing is grabbing ourselves a black-red source. So let's get this popped out. Let's go ahead and grab anything that comes into play tapped. We'll just go ahead and grab a Blood Crypt. There we go. Have that coming up, but not going to pay 2 on that one, and then anything else, we will pass the turn over to our opponent. We're playing Isshin, 2 heavens as 1. And if you haven't built this commander, if you're thinking about building this commander, this is a lot of fun, and it is wide open. You can... All you need is stuff that attacks. So that's it. I mean, even if it's budget, not budget, I mean, this is having a Panharmonicon out of the combat step. Yeah, that's some good stuff right there. Let's go and lead off with Prismatic Vista. Let's go ahead and we have Demonic Tutor that we could Mana Crypt for. I think that sounds good. We're playing against Sidisi and we've got spot removal. That would kind of really help us, because we're looking at Isshin for next turn, potentially getting down Tyrant Dynamo. I think I do. I like the Demonic Tutor on Mana Crypt, because I want to get ahead on mana. Sidisi can get out of hand very quick, and I feel like the only way we're going to beat Sidisi is if we get ahead on mana pretty quick, and hopefully, kind of flood the board with something like Grave Titan or something like that. That's kind of my line of play on this one. So we're going to go Prismatic Vista. Let's go ahead and grab ourselves... Do we need to grab a Plains? Because we do have a Plains in the hand. We have nothing... Actually, double black. So we need to go ahead and grab another Swamp right now. Prioritize that. So let's go ahead and go Demonic Tutor. It's going to be 1-2. And then we can actually... doubt we're going to see hand disruption. So let's just go and do this. Let's just go and grab Mana Crypt wherever you are. There we are. Put Mana Crypt in the hand. And then we'll go and pass... We can get it out next turn. And then we'll go and pass the turn over to our opponent. So we're playing Isshin, 2 heavens as 1. If a creature attacking causes a Vampiric Tutor, okay. If a creature attacking causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. Playing against Sidisi, Brute Tyrant. Whenever Sidisi enters the battlefield or attacks, mill 3 cards. Then, whenever 1 or more creatures are put into your graveyard from your library, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. And also with Sidisi, if you've never played Sidisi, and you're just watching this video for Isshin, I'm going to plead a case for Sidisi, because Sidisi is a very fun commander. There is, I don't know how to describe it. I've pretty much, other than being mana screwed, I've never sat down, I've always sat down and enjoyed a game playing Sidisi. Win or lose, as far as interactions, as far as graveyards go, as far as getting zombie tokens out there, as far as getting flying zombie tokens out there, or bring Crater Hoof out of the... I mean, Sidisi is a wonderful, wonderful commander to play. So you've got... If you're looking for a new commander to build, you start with one of these 2. They're a lot of fun. All right, so let's go ahead. We do have... Actually, we can't go for the channel just yet. So let's go and make the land drop. Let's drop in Mana Crypt. And let's go ahead and go for Tyrant Dynamo. Yeah, I think I like that. We could end up going for Murderous Rider on Sidisi. And I think I like that, actually. Now that I think about it, that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to cut us off black mana. Yeah, let's go and go for Murderous Rider. I like that. So let's go and cast Destroy Target Creature. No, we need to cast Swift. Make sure we're doing that right. Swift, yes. So we're going to Swift on Sidisi. That's going to be double black. And the tap down on Mana Crypt. All right, so we've got this in the Exile Zone. Sidisi is going to go back to the Command Zone. And there we go. And then, unfortunately, we don't have red source for that Thrill of Possibility. And then anything else, we will go and pass the turn over to our opponent. So we did cover both commanders. Let's give a quick shout out to our sponsors, TCG Player. If you go to bit.ly/JoltMTG, that will apply my affiliate link. That'll allow you to get some cards and help support the channel at the same time. So if you do use that link, much obliged. Certainly appreciate it. Let's give a quick shout out to MTGOTraders if you want to play Magic Online. Let's give a quick shout out to inkgaming.com/Jolt for 10% off of your order. And last but not least, I started a Patreon, so if you'd like to directly support cool content like this, there's a link down in the description below. But if you're keeping score at home as you're dual wielding, choose Tails on that Mana Crypt. All right, won the flip. There we go. It's free time. Let's have some fun. So we draw into Swords to Plowshare, which that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I think we go for it. I kind of like doing that. Yeah, let's go Swords to Plowshare on Sidisi. because we're not hitting our land drop, and then it's going to send that to the command zone. That does give them an extra land. Let's go and go Murderous Rider, and then let's let's tap down Mana Crypt, get down Murderous Rider, and then anything else. No lane drop for the turn, so we're going to go and pass the turn. But yeah, they've got a bunch of 2/2s out there, and we got a lifelink 2/3, so hopefully this can keep the zombies at bay. Now, as far as this build of Isshin, you're kind of seeing some pretty good spot removal. You're in Mardu, so if you're thinking about building Isshin, definitely get the spot removal in there. That's one of the strengths of playing Mardu, is that you just you've got an entire card pool of just super efficient removal in a deck like this, and when you combine that control style aspect of Mardu with the kind of grinded out style of Mardu, I guess, of whatever you want to call it. There's just a lot of creatures that attack and put tokens on the battlefield, and it makes for a really fun deck. You know, even if you build this budget-wise, you can definitely lean into more of a board wipey kind of spot control style deck, and then still just use like high impact creatures, not having every single creature care about having an attack step until the board state's clear for you to go for that. Let's see what they're going to go for with Eternal Witness. It's going to be Eternal Witness on... They've got some good stuff. All right, they're going to go for the land. Eternal Witness on Ice Tunnel. I like that. All right, so they're going to get down Ice Tunnel. And we're hoping for some lands for next turn. We've got the Three Dynamo play, which at the very least still allows us to go for Thrill of Possibility. But it'd be nice to hit a land drop right now. So let's see what we rip into. I'm just going to go and choose Tails on this one. Won the flip. I think we're 2 for 2 on those. We run into Badlands. I do like that. So let's drop in Badlands. We have no attack step right now. So we end up going 1, 2, 3, 4 off of 3 and Dynamo. Or we can just drop in a Grave Titan. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got just enough for just a Grave Titan. Which actually does work out because Isshin doesn't have to attack to get that combat step down. So let's do that. Let's go Grave Titan. I like that. That's going to be 1, 2. Get the zombies versus zombies going. I like it. Anything else, we'll go and pass the turn over there. So if we do hit a land drop for next turn, awesome. That might allow us to go for 3 and Dynamo and get down one of our 4 drops. God of Victory, a Tectonic Giant. But if not, I kind of like where we're at. You know, if they've got a board wipe, so be it. But, you know, kind of gumming up the spot removal on Sidisi, kind of stop that zombie army from coming in, and now hopefully we've kind of stabilized. I feel like we've stabilized, unless they've got some sort of Cyclonic Rift or Damnation, but with them passing the turn like that, I think that works out pretty well. So we'll see what we draw into for the turn. If not, we'll be getting down Tech Giant or God of Victory to kind of stop that combat damage and go from there. So I like that. Let's go and choose Tails on this Mana Crypt trigger. Lost the flip. We are 1 for 3 on, or 2 for 3, I think. Okay, so we got 3 in Dynamo, 1, 2, 3, 4. That still gives us access to 5 total mana. And I think we just go wild with... Yeah, I think we just go wild with Grave Titan. You know, if they want to trade with Grave Titan, we're going to have a ton of zombies. And that's going to be the entire board state. Yeah, let's go for it. Let's tap down. Make sure we do leave up red for Thrill of Possibility or Tormenting Voice. So let's get down Isshin. And then let's go and send Grave Titan. Yeah, let's get it going. Let's get Grave Titan into the red zone. All right, so we're going to send Grave Titan in. That's going to be 6/6 coming across. That's going to be, oh, look at this. Look at all these zombies about to fall out of Grave Titan's belly. All right, so we've got 4 zombies out there, and that's a 6/6 coming across. They can take out Grave Titan with double zombies and Eternal Witness if they want to, and I really do like that trade. But it looks like they're just going to end up going for Eternal Witness. Okay, we'll see what this is. And they're completely tapping out, so I'm really curious. This is going to be Read the Runes. Okay, I like that card a lot. Okay, so they're going to go Read the Runes for 7. If you haven't seen this card before, draw X cards. For each card drawn this way, discard a card unless you sacrifice a permanent. I really do like Read the Runes in Sidisi, and I think I might have it in there. If I don't, I need to put it in here after this. But this really works out really well in Sidisi. There may be some times to where you've got a lot of zombie tokens out there. Read the Runes. You know, for each card drawn this way, you have to discard a card unless you sack a permanent. So it kind of creates this spot to where if you've got the zombie tokens flowing with Sidisi, you can kind of do this hybrid discard 4 cards, draw an extra 3 cards because you sacrifice 3 zombies, and I don't know, it's just a good card. All right, so we'll see what they dump. They dump Tropical Island, Barren Moor, Snow-Covered Swamp, Plague Crafter, and Read the Runes. All right, so they did some stuff on that. And And then anything else. So we've got Tormenting Voice that we can go for just right now. Yeah, we better do that because we haven't made the land drop. So let's tap down Mana Crypt. Let's go ahead and discard. Three and Dynamo helps us out, but I mean, we're at mana, and I actually kind of like just having creatures to rebound from a potential board wipe. So we're actually going to go ahead and discard 3 and Dynamo on this. All right, so we do run into a land. So let's go ahead and drop Shotgun Sacred Foundry. We're going to pay 2 on this one. Let's go Thrill of Possibility, because I think with Kroxa in the graveyard, we should be able to escape it, I think. Yeah, so let's do that. Let's go Thrill of Possibility, and let's go and dump Kroxa into the graveyard. And then there we go. Vampiric Tutor. Yes, I like this. So anything else, we will pass the turn over to our opponent. So we'll go and check this out real quick. So with Kroxa, that's going to be escape, double black, double red, and then exile 5 of the cards. So we definitely have those 5 other cards. So the thing that we're looking out for right now, like you mentioned, is some sort of, you know, board wipe, Toxic Deluge, Damnation, something along those lines. One of the good things about this deck is we have a ton of mid-range threats in here, so even if we do get hit with a board wipe, you know, next turn, conceivably, we can just kind of follow it up with something like Tech Giant or Wingmake Rock. There we go. All right. All right, so let's go ahead and put Murderous Rider on the bottom, and then returns all... yes, we're going to return Isshin back to the command zone. And, yeah, that's not too... That's a pretty good chunk of lands. All right, so let's go. We're already back to our turn, so let's go and choose Tails on this one. So, and that was a pretty good play by our opponent with World Shaper. All right, so we draw into Polluted Delta. So let's go get down Polluted Delta. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we do have 8 total mana, and that's going to be Tech Giant and Aroas. Yeah, I kind of like doing that. So let's go and crack Polluted Delta. Let's grab ourselves. Yeah, let's do that. So let's grab ourselves Scrubland. Let's go for Tech Giant. Yeah, I kind of like that because I like getting down Tech Giant to go for that card advantage for next turn. All right, so and then we do leave up another red. We do have at least red and white for God of Victory. So let's going to do that last colorless. And let's go for God of Victory. They've got 5 cards in the hand. I guess. Well, we've already tapped down for Tech Giant, so we could go for Kroxa out of the graveyard. But I like doing this. All right, so we get down God of Victory, and then anything else, we will go and pass the turn to our opponent. So our opponent can do some good setting up for next turn. Then go for Sidisi. We'll see what else they've got in their hand as far as the 5 cards in their hand. But at least for next turn, we've got Vampiric Tutor during our upkeep, which is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that gives us access to 7 total mana. And with God of Victory, I need to read the card because I always forget about it. Indestructible, and then creatures you control have menace, and then prevent all damage that will be dealt to attacking creatures that you control. So we basically just have free attacks with God of Victory out there. So that's something to kind of keep in mind. I need to keep in mind because I forget about that. That's probably one of the most misplay comments I get is whenever I play with God of Victory is, why aren't you swinging in? They don't prevent all combat damage. And then I'm like, well, I don't remember until I got over here. So there we go. Now, if our opponent's just going to go for Sidisi, we do have Toxic Deluge for 3, and that does keep Tech Giant on the battlefield. So we'll see what else they roll out. We're not just kind of fully invested in Tech Giant. It's just having a creature on the battlefield at this point right now. But if we end up Vampiric for Toxic, I do like that because we're still going to get the Tech Giant attack. Yeah, it doesn't matter what its power is. It's not a deal damage style effect. Yeah, I think we'll end up doing that because that at least forces them to burn another turn going for Sidisi. And I kind of like that. Yeah, let's go and do that. So let's go and go Vampiric Tutor during our upkeep. And let's grab ourselves a Toxic Deluge. This is a real grindy match. I'm enjoying it. It's like Isshin versus the zombie wave. So let's find ourselves Toxic Deluge. Just going to go on top. We're down to 26. And this is also going to be a really good example of using your life total as a resource. So hopefully it doesn't come back to bite us. Let's go and choose Tails on this one. Won the flip. And let's go. And actually, they have Menace. I guess it didn't. If we go X-3 and they block, yeah, they could actually get rid of Tech Giants. So let's do this. So let's tap down Mana Crypt. That's going to be 1, 2. We're going to do it 1, 2, 3. Click OK, because that's going to be their entire board state. That'll still leave Tech Giant out there. And then hopefully with Tech Giant's second ability, exile the top 2 cards of your library. Yeah, I think we end up doing that. So let's go ahead and go for Tech Giant swinging across. Get the attack trigger. Let's go and get for the exile top 2 cards of your library. Choose one of them. And hopefully we're just going to hit a land drop off of this. All right, Windswept Heath. So So we've got Fury. I do like that. I think I do like Fury on this one. We can get that down for next turn. I feel like our opponent's kind of strapped on resources. Yeah, I've been wanting to play with Fury. Now, if we go Windswept Heath, that allows us to go for Wingmate Rock and to get an extra bird token on the battlefield. I think we go land drop. I would love to get Fury, but if we're like fully investing in Fury, like, may not be that good for us. And at this point, I want to try to keep up with our opponent's lane drop. So that was kind of like a 51-49 for me on that one. The thought of getting down Wingmate Rock and being able to swing in for next turn, I do like that. So, all right, so we're going to swing in for 0, knock them down to 38. Let's make the land drop in Windswept Heath. Let's go and crack Windswept Heath. And we can go for Croxa if we want to, because that'll be double red, double black. So we just need to at least grab 2 black. Yeah, either way, we can just grab Plateau on this one. So we grab Plateau, and if we go Croxa, that's going to be a 6/6. Or we can go Wingmate Rock and get an extra token on the battlefield, and that'll be able to swing in for really nice for next turn. I think we just end up going Wingmate Rock. Yeah, I like that. I like getting the extra body on the battlefield. I was thinking about going for Croxa and going for making them discard a card, but I like getting an extra creature out there. So let's get down Wingmate Rock, and then anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn over to our opponent. But yeah, this has been a very good game. I've enjoyed it so far. And then anything else past the turn. This is what I'm talking about. You can see where Sidisi, even though we're sending Sidisi back to the command zone a bunch, it's still at its core, Sidisi deck's just a lot of fun to pilot. And same thing with this Isshin deck. You know, as long as you put spot removal and board wipes in there, and you just got a bunch of good, good Mardu creatures, just turn them sideways and have some fun. So that's going to be Noxious Gearhulk. Okay, that's going to be on Tech Giant, which should give us a... Oh, excuse me, that's just going to be the target of a spell. Okay, so they do get rid of Tech Giant. One of the good things right now is even if they do try to build up a slower board state, or at least on the ground, we've got 6 in the air, they will be able to kind of chip away at our life total a little bit quicker than we can at theirs, but depending on what they get out, if we end up going Croxa, that's going to be a 6/6. Yeah, Croxus can stop Noxious Gearhulk. The only thing with Noxious Gearhulk is it does have Menace. And so if we do end up going for Croxa, then we need to watch out on that. Now, we do have the Isshin line of play for next turn, and that's going to be gaining some life that we can go for. So let's just kind of see what we end up drawing into off of that. Let's go and choose Tails on this Mana Crypt trigger. Lost the flip on that. And we draw into Wooded Foothills. So let's go ahead and drop in Wooded Foothills. Let's get a mana cost going. So we've got 5 total mana for Isshin. That's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we got just enough to go for Croxa. Yeah, I like that. So let's get Isshin onto the battlefield. That's going to be tapping down for Mardu. And we need to make sure, tap down black, and then we tap down red. And then we tap down Mana Crypt. There we go. It's going to be 1, 2. So let's get down Isshin onto the battlefield. And let's go and go for Croxa. That's going to be double black and then double red. And then let's exile. We have no way to get lands out of the graveyard, so we're just going to target our lands on this Polluted Delta, and then Windswept Heath, and then one more card. We'll just go and get rid of Thray and Dynamo. There we go. All right, click OK on that. That's going to be Croxa entering the battlefield. That's going to make them discard a card, which hopefully that's something maybe they need. If not, then we can go for Croxa for next turn. So get the command zone pulled down. So at this point with Wingmate Rock, it's going to be 1 life for each attacking creature. And then let's get the triggers on the stack. So they're going to have to discard a card. And we don't have to sacrifice Croxa because we did go for the escape cost. That should be correct, yes. And they do discard Bane of Progress, which I'm very happy about that. I mean, just having another threat out there. All right, so we can at least block on the ground. Actually, we've got God of Victory online with Devotion too. So that's really going to work out. So let's go and go to the combat step. We need to... So we've got 6 in the air. I want to get in for 7. And if we take a hit for 5, I think we're okay with that at this point right now. Yeah, we're cool with that. All right, so we're going to go and swing in with the crew. We're going to gain some life. That's going to be 6 total life. That's going to put us back up to 25 because, yeah, with that life gain from Wingmate Rock, basically that's going to negate any sort of Noxious Gearhulk. So let's see what this is from our opponent. The opponent's going to go for Necromancy. Okay, let's see what this is going to be. And they're going to go for Eternal Witness. Okay. And they do have Damnation out there too. All right, so it's going to be Eternal Witness. Let's see what they return with Eternal Witness. And they're going to go for Vampiric Tutor. Okay, so we'll see what this is going to be. They'll at least have that on top of their library. That's going to put us up to 25. That's going to allow us to get in for, should be 11. No, excuse me, it's going to be 13. And we're going to get the double block on God of Victory, which is pretty much okay with me at this point. So we're going to click OK on that. It's going to send both of them back to the graveyard. Doesn't matter how we sequence that out because it's going to get rid of both of them. There we go. And so we get in for the 6, drop them down to 33. And then let's see what Vampiric Tutor. That's going to drop them down to 31. And then that's it. Anything else, we're going to go and pass the turn over to our opponent. So I'm curious what that Vampiric Tutor is. They could have gone for Eternal Witness on Damnation, which is in their graveyard, which would have allowed them to go for another board wipe. But we'll see what they're going to end up going for. They do have the Sidisi line of play. I don't know what Sidisi's commander tax is, but I think they've got enough mana for Sidisi's commander tax. And so we'll see what that tutor is. If they've got a board wipe, I feel like they would have gone for Damnation to clear this up, so they probably tutored for a board wipe. But if they don't, we have Croxa, Living Death. Okay. Yeah. That's a thing. Okay. So let's see what this is. Oh my goodness, that is... Look at all these... Yeah, so we'll return Isshin back to the command zone. And at least get Grave Titan, which is not too bad. But look at our trigger stack and look at our opponent's trigger stack. Yeah, that's that's not that good. That is that's some good. I like that. That was a Living Death. I was kind of worried about Living Death. I didn't want to say it to speak it out of will, but yeah, that's a pretty good 2-drop of that Vampiric Tutor. So that's gonna be Living Death. We are pretty low on life total, and they've got a. Now we do have board wipes in here. So if we run into like Damnation or, because we ran into Toxic, so we can hit the reset button on this for sure. The only downside is they've got some pretty good value out of this. All right, so we do get our Grave Titan trigger on the stack. We get those 2 zombie tokens. Let's see who they target with Hostage Taker. They're going to exile, ooh, nice play. They're going to exile Noxious Gearhulk. They're going to return Read the Runes back to the hand off of Eternal Witness. They're going to destroy Grave Titan off of that Enter the Battlefield Noxious Gearhulk trigger. We've got a Gonti trigger that's going to look at the top 4 cards of our library, which is a little worrisome just because we do have, I mean, this is nothing but good stuff in here. Spot removal, board wipes, card draw, and like mid-range value creatures. So I'm sure they found something nice. This is going to be Acidic Slime. Let's see what they end up targeting with the Acidic Slime. That's going to be Springbloom Druid. Timeless Witness, and then another Plaguecrafter trigger. So even though we did get some value with Grave Titan, that's a value trigger right there. And this also hits on why Sidisi is such a good commander to build, because even though at its core, you know, you think it's a zombie deck, we'll sacrifice a zombie. Even though at its core you kind of view it as a zombie deck, at its core it's a Sultai, you know, graveyard, Life from the Loam, Living Death, you know, good stuff value. I mean, just you can build Sidisi in a numerous amount of ways just because you just get a ton of zombies out there. It's just a lot of fun. So anyway, going to keep plugging Sidisi until everybody builds it because it's a lot of fun. So let's go and drop in Mountain. And as far as our, you know, we are looking at board wipe right now. Let's see. March Flats. It's not a board wipe. So I guess we Croxa. Get it to escape out of the graveyard. Yeah, let's go for that. So let's go Croxa. All right, so we're going to get Croxa out there. Our opponent does have 2 cards in the hand. One of them, I think, is Read the Ruins. And let's go and get these triggers on the stack. So let's go and get the Sacrifice and let's let it escape. That's fine. It did escape out of the graveyard. Let's go for the discard. So let's see if this gets any sort of action out of their hand with the discard. The game's not over, I guess. I mean, we've got a 6/6 out there, but if they decide to swing the entire crew in, I mean, we can stop this. This is... Yeah, we don't want to swing him with tech either. And let's get a quick commander count on the Isshin. So let's see, that's going to be 7 total mana. So we can at least go for that for next turn. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold off on Marsh Flats Crack right now. And we're going to go and pass the turn and see what they have to show for it. If they've got Hoof in here, if they're going to hoof it up, that's definitely in line of play. I did mention Crater Hoof earlier in the game. All right, so we're going to go for a... Ah, man, look at this, Read the Ruins. I mean, if you wanted to get aggressive with this Read the Ruins, you could... You know, sacrifice 4 lands, sacrifice some of these creatures, sacrifice hostage. Yeah, this is... we'll see what they get off of this. And they do end up doing the World Shaper sacrifice. Oh man, this is Value Town right here. I mean, this is one of those games where we had fun. We got a lot of fun stuff down, and we're getting to see a CDC deck just kind of go off as far as just the mechanics of a CDC deck, and this is really good. So our opponent's going to make the lane drop Pluto Delta. If you didn't see what happened, they sacrificed World Shaper off of Read the Runes, and that got a lot of those lands out of the graveyard, which is a beautiful interaction. So we'll see what they have for right now. They went from 0 cards to 6 cards in the hand, and so we'll see what can happen. But yeah, with the Crater Hoof in the graveyard, in a deck like this, I've run the sacrifice 3 creatures, return it out of the graveyard. Dread Return, I think. And so if you're running Dread Return in a self-mill deck and you have a lot of, creatures in there, different things like that, you can just very easily and very cheaply sacrifice 3 creatures to get a Crater Hoof out there, and boy, you're in a good spot. Okay, so our opponent they've got Bane of Progress, which is a little bit of a threat. Right now, that's a 4/4, but we've got a 6/6. And even if they do swing in with the entire crew, that will be a really big chunk of damage. But we can kind of whittle away at their creatures. So we'll see what this is going to be. All right, it's going to be Journey to Eternity on the Sidisi. And we will still... And then also, if you want to see what it's like to play a mill deck, so we are at 70 cards in our deck. Our opponent is at 50 cards in the deck. Being able to just churn through your deck like that, yeah. Opponent's got Mesmeric Orb, and that is... that's going to be nuts. Yeah, our opponent, I don't know if they're either tapping down for mana or just tapping down for that untap of Mesmeric Orb. All right, so Blood on the Snow, destroy all creatures. Oh, goodness. Yeah. Okay, that's going to leave Noxious Gearhulk out there. And it's going to be Journey to Eternity. Let's see what we can do on this. So that's going to be... what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and crack this Marsh Flats. Even though we're a little bit low on life total and we're trying to conserve it, I just don't want to draw into another land. And if it's a 1 out of 70 chance of not hitting another land, that sounds like a pretty good plan to me. All right, so it's going to be Eternal Witness. Let's see what they end up grabbing. It's going to be Journey to Eternity, bringing CDC back on the battlefield. And then with the cave being flipped... that's going to be return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. So yeah, this is, if you're keeping score at home, you can definitely check the box of this is not looking that hot. It's not looking good. All right, so we'll see what else they go for. Yes, and of course, let's get the Birds of Paradise down. All right, so let's go and crack Marsh Flats, and we'll go and grab ourselves Godless Shrine, have that come into play tapped. We are in top deck mode, but even the top deck mode, we'll see what we can do. So see what we rip into. We still got the Croxa. All right, so see what we draw into for the turn, and we draw into Talisman of Indulgence. Okay, so let's go ahead and go for Talisman of Indulgence. We'll get that down. We'll go for Croxa again. It's going to be red, red, double black, and then exile 1, 2. We need to leave the creature cards in the graveyard for sure. Okay, all right, so get Croxa back out there. They're going to have to discard a card, get these triggers back on the stack. Still, like I said, it's not looking that good. They've got a free reanimate out of the with their land out there, and you're about to see how good Mesmeric Orb is going to be with Sidisi. So anything else, we will pass the turn over to our opponent. So let's check this out. So with Mesmeric Orb is going to basically just trigger... It should trigger Sidisi for each time that you mill a card if you hit a creature card. So let's go and always yield to these triggers. And they're actually whiffing on... Yeah, they're whiffing on creatures right now. There we go. All right, they finally hit a creature. Let's go and always yield to Sidisi. And one of the bad things about them hitting that is they hit Wonder out of the graveyard. Yeah, that's some good stuff right there. So we got Flying Zombies. We're still not seeing a Crater Hoof, but they did run into a lot of ways to kind of reanimate. So they've got Cave of Eternity that they can bring a creature card out of the graveyard. They did end up hitting Dread Return. I'm pretty sure I saw it. Yeah, they did hit Dread Return, so that's going to sacrifice 3 creatures, flash it back, return a creature card back to the graveyard. So as far as what I'm seeing, I don't really see... I guess if they wanted to get nutty with it, they had Sidisi. Maybe Crater Hoof's just not even in here, but I always run Crater Hoofs and Sidisi. All right, so they're going to be flying, swinging across. That's going to be 8. They're going to drop us down to 15. And unless we run into a board wipe for next turn, I think we may end up scooping Gap because they're going to have it on combat damage. And this is a beautifully played game by our opponent. I'm definitely happy to have this game kind of play out this way. So let's see what else they're going for. Now, here's the other thing. They're down to They're down to like 17 cards in the down to 17 cards in their library too. I just now saw that. But I think they've got it in the air, even if they mill out. I guess we still pass the turn in case they draw something. Do we have instant speed draw? I don't think we do. Oh goodness. Okay. Well, they are at 17 cards in the library, so let's see how they set this stuff up. I don't know. This is very interesting because they've got a Mole Drifter. I'm not seeing Laboratory Maniac out there, I don't think. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what's going on. I mean, they've got 17 cards in the library, so let's get this stack going and we'll see what's going on. So we've kind of got like a random out. We've got a board wipe out, and we've got Teferi's Protection. So if we can somehow fog out a combat step, and they've got only 16 cards in the library, because that's going to be, depending on how much stuff they've got tapped down. Yeah, it also completely depends on how much stuff enters the battlefield tapped as far as them completely milling out. So let's let them get this stack resolved, and we'll see what's going. Now, something of important note, they did go for a Villainous Wealth. So if they hit a Villainous Wealth and they hit some sort of hasty option off of us, that does give them a really good chance. But excuse me, we're in our second main phase, so yeah, it's not going to do anything with that. Now, here's the downside. They did go for a tutor and a sacrifice. If they go choose a creature, we have to sacrifice a creature or planeswalker. We'll just go and sacrifice a zombie. There we go. Now, if our opponent does grab, they can either grab Torment of Hellfire, or if they grab Exsanguinate, that's going to be 1-2 for the double black, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So if they do end up actually having 15, if they do end up having a way to just find Exsanguinate, they do have a way to close it out right now with 15 total mana, and they did. I don't know if we haven't seen it yet, but I'm pretty sure they grabbed. We'll go and sacrifice. I guess at this point we'll sacrifice Tech Edge. It's a 3/4 because we might need those zombies for next turn. Oh, our opponent's gonna go for the flavor win. That's gonna be a Meat Hook Massacre. Oh my goodness, beautiful. I love it. Yeah, we had a couple outs on this. That's why we were letting our opponent kind of play this out. So we had a couple outs, and actually I think that's enough with Meat Hook Massacre. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, 14. Yeah, that's going to be just enough. But yes, so we had a couple outs. We had Teferi's. If they weren't trying to close it out right now, well, I mean, our opponent, well, actually, excuse me. So we get a 2 with the Scarab God, and they did sacrifice Mesmeric Orb. So that wasn't enough. Anyway, we had some outs last time. That's what we were going for. And our opponent did end up getting a Goblin Rabble Master off of that. And see what it's going to be. Chaos Warp, Mortify, and then the Scare God. Okay. So let's see what we got going on. They did end up sacrificing Mesmeric Orb, so they're not going to mill out. They get in for 2 next turn with Goblin Rat. We can go for Isshin. How much is Isshin going to be? Isshin's going to be 7. And they're going to be able to bring creatures out there. Now, with the Meat Hook Massacre, so they have the token, we block on the token, it puts us down to 1. Yeah, we're going to go and scoop it up on this one, because no matter what we kind of end up doing for next turn, we're down to 2 life, and there's just not much we can do on that. But yes, good game to our opponent on this one. We got to see a lot of Sidisi action. Our opponent got down to 11 cards in the hand. Oh, that was the win I was going to try to go for. With the opponent having 11 cards in the deck, we potentially could have set ourselves up for a spot to where maybe they decked themselves on accident with the trigger, drawing, crazier things have happened, but it looks like they had a lock on that game. But anyway, if you enjoyed the video, hey, like and subscribe. Thanks, bye.